9 to noon on a Talker Tuesday. It is a Talkback Talker Tuesday. Courtesy of our friends at Northern Fire, we have a Talkback prize to be given away today.
How you doing?
Not great. How you doing?
Good morning, PA.
Well, good morning there, sunshine.
Hi, Mr. Allen. How are you doing today?
Not great. Thank you very much for asking.
How you doing?
Decent. How are you?
I've been all right. How you doing, Pierre?
All right. It's a Talkback Talker Tuesday. Basketball team lost last night. Ain't feeling good about that.
That man Pierre is silly, man.
Say what?
L.
All right, 3-2. All right, 3-2. All right, 3-2. Wolves lead the Denver Nuggets in the playoff series.
Paul, it's a pleasure to be with you today.
Everything's fine, isn't it? I mean, we're going to be okay, right? It's everything's fine, right? We're going to be okay, right? Just needed one with the new lineups and no Ant or Dante to be found. Blue skies on the horizon, right? Everything's going to be all right, right? We'll be just fine, right? Mr. Master Mixer of the 9 to noon patented montage. Everything's fine, right?
One out of the next two. That's all you need. Please, one out of the next two. Why not make it Thursday at Target Center? Why not make it in front of Jimmy K and his foam finger and his howling horn?
King of the Rubes.
Please do it in front of the King of the Rubes. We'll get to it via talkbacks. Many things to dig into, even within this game. You mentioned no Ant, no Dante. We got Naz Reid laying on the hardwood. I mean, this thing's getting ugly. The 3 previous games in which the Wolves were victorious, I believe they held them to like 43, 44% shooting. The Wolves held the Nuggets to 37% shooting in a game. The Wolves held the Nuggets to 34% shooting in a game.
Yeah.
Last night in the Mile High, just trying to get through and close out this series, they held the Nuggets to 56% shooting. And so that's certainly a factor, not just into last night, but a conversation talker moving forward where you had held them down. Defensively, you made them struggle for every single freaking point.
Yeah.
And last night, it was just too damned easy.
Okay.
For those Spencer Jones types.
Yeah.
To find their way to the bucket.
Yeah. But.
How you doing, Pierre? What's going on?
All right, D-Spam. Good to hear from you. But, for the purpose of the appeasing of the question, everything's all right, isn't it? I mean, everything's okay.
Everything's good.
Yeah, everything's okay, isn't it?
Everything's fine.
Yeah, Timberwolves, Wolves, Cats, bad kitties. Very, very bad kitties last night. They failed to purr and instead sprayed all over the Game 5 carpet.
Paul, it's a pleasure to be with you today.
13 turnovers in the first 16 minutes. 9 in the first quarter, finished with 25. 25 turnovers, 9 in the first quarter. You got to be kidding me with that one. How? If the great Cade Cunningham watched our game on his flight to Detroit from Orlando, he had a high level of appreciation for the approach. After all, young Cade has 24 turnovers of his own the last 3 games.
I always love that one.
So he must have been like, I always love that one. As Bones Highland drives in for an easy layup and kicks it off his knee.
I always love that one.
Jaden said after the game, all is good. We'll win Game 6. That's what Jaden McDaniels said after the game. So all is fine with Jaden McDaniels. It's that simple, right? Yes, we all know, because this is the Elite Basketball Mind Covenant, and that includes many of you listening now with the analytical bent.
The analyst.
We know a well-oiled Spurs team will be waiting in the wings after they dispatch of the scrappy Blazers, and beating those guys, sans Dante and Anthony, would be very, very difficult. But no need to freak out over tomorrow when we have enough with which to deal today. Jaden said no need to worry. No need to worry. Cool. Usually when a team shoots 51% and hits more threes than the adversary, generally speaking, you're in fine fettle. But that wasn't the case last night. if concern that the Timberwolves may blow a 3-1 series lead has entered your covenant, 9 to Noon understands and, in fact, empathizes with you. Why? 25 turnovers to 16.
Yeah.
Fat ugg right there. That's a fat ugg.
I think they scored like 35 or 40 off those turnovers.
Oh! Bad kitties. Very, very bad kitties. Oh! Very bad kitties. Somebody named Spencer Jones was permitted to find an effortless 20 points, which is a career high for somebody named Spencer Jones. And by the way, Spencer Jones, career high 20. 9 more points than he scored in the previous 4 games in this series, though.
Oh my gosh. Above average at that.
I don't think even Nuggets greats from days gone by like Alex English, T.R. Dunn, Carmelo Anthony, and or Dan Issel, I don't even think they know Spencer Jones is on the team.
I always love that one.
But we do. We sure do now. Right, Finchy? Right, Jaden? We do. After deciding not to guard him for the balance of a contest where something called Spencer Jones went for 20. Hey, Thursday night, is it possible to do without if there's one thing that transpires, 9 to Noon would like for it to be a W, to dispatch of the Denver Nuggets with super special Joker guy. But Thursday night, is it closed circuit to the Timberwolves? Is it possible to do without the Spencer Jones, who's that rabbit you just pulled out of your hat trick?
I always love that one.
These Nuggets are so beatable. And they're just so beatable. Holy cow. That wasn't a basketball game last night. It was a war of attrition. And we'll have to muster some attention to detail to close them out on Thursday night. Attention to detail, you say? You see, getting down double digits to anybody these days, sans the quick-fire scoring of Dante DiVincenzo and Anthony Edwards, is a recipe for disaster. It's like, Nordo hit me with this morning. It's a good one. It's like hitting a Denver dispensary and purchasing oregano instead of Humboldt County's finest.
I always love that one.
Chris Finch is head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, Finchy, and here's what he had to say after the loss.
Problems holding on to the ball.
Just kind of silly, playing in the crowd, not handling the physicality well, just trying to plow through it, just kind of, that and just a lot of just silly forced plays by guys trying to make something out of nothing.
Do you think that was there any kind of a lack of urgency on their part? Did you feel
No, I didn't feel a lack of urgency. We started the game a beat slow, but I didn't think there was a lack of urgency. So.
Finchy.
Chris, when you say kind of playing in a crowd, when you say playing in a crowd and not matching the physicality, how do you generate ball movement amidst physicality like you want?
The ball movement was there. I thought the ball movement was there. We didn't make the plays that were right in front of us. So I thought there was really good opportunities to make those plays. So I thought we started the game too, wanting to make all the home run plays, instead of making all the plays to help us get into the ball game and make the rhythm plays.
Finchy.
Chris, did you feel like that was like an adjustment by Denver's defense to kind of put you in situations where they're going for those home run plays?
They were more physical. They put 2 on the ball, against the same guys they've been doing. So put 2 on IO for the first time, Yeah, it was, their physicality was certainly, was key to that.
What did you see from your defense? It seemed like the turnovers put you in a terrible spot, obviously, but just in general, what did you think of that performance?
Right. They had 23 fast break points. A lot of them were just turnover led by us. I thought defensively, a lot of game plan mistakes early. I think we were very sharp with the game plan. But it was turnovers more than anything else that hurt us. So.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned the physicality. I know we only played about 11 minutes, but how much did having Valanciunas out there, you think, contribute to their physicality or their approach?
Hey, it's Dane.
I mean, he's a physical player, but
Brandon Cristal.
I don't know if it was necessarily all him. So,
ooh, Guerrilla Sports though.
In general, Jaden, obviously, just a lot of anti-Jaden sentiment in the building tonight. Were you guys expecting that, kind of coming back to Denver for him, and how does he handle those moments?
I mean, his second foul was ridiculous.
Hey.
So he got in foul trouble early, so that really hurt him more than anything else. I thought Jaden had a clear line to the basket. I thought Johnson comes over, and so I thought that was a tough start more than anything else. I mean, I don't think Jaden's worried about whether they boo him when he touches the ball. So.
Chris, without Ant and Dante, obviously you miss what they bring for you, but functionally it changes your starting lineup and your rotation a bit. What was that like I know you had the foul trouble and stuff to manage, but what was just kind of different when you have a different starting lineup and are playing different players? Yeah,
I mean, listen, we knew coming in that we would have to be able to go whatever way we thought. We didn't have anything particularly set. Thought the different lineups that, at certain times looked good, and the same lineup, didn't perform. So I have to look at it a little bit closer and figure it out. So
it was in the first 4 games that getting all the way to the rim was such an advantage for you guys, but with them kind of packing the paint a little bit more defensively, it seemed like that was part of their goal, was to take away the rim there. When a defense is playing that way and that's an advantage you have, how do you go about still getting those good looks at the basket?
Well, I didn't like our decision-making in the paint. The decision-making in and around the rim was not good for the most part. And sometimes you got to finish better and sometimes you got to make the play that's there. So, but I thought, we didn't really do a good job in and around the paint with our decision-making. So,
Chris, you went away from Mike in the later half of the third quarter and fourth quarter. Was that just trying to get pace going or defense adjustment?
It was just, they were on a little bit of a run, trying to shake up the lineup that was on the floor. Once they got up kind of big, it just kind of rolled with who was ever out there. And then after, Mike having sit for a long time, I didn't want to go back to him. So there's nothing really with Mike. It was just trying things at that point in time. So.
TJ got scoring late in the game there, had some moments throughout the game. Just kind of, where do you see him fitting in this series moving forward?
Yeah, I thought, certainly really good offensively. Defensively, I think, his first shift was full of a lot of game plan mistakes. I think we got to clean that up for sure.
-7.
But, offensively, he's proven he can be a weapon for us.
Chris, when just simplicity with decision-making is the fix, is that, I guess, an easier thing to adjust to than other things? Maybe
we'll look at it. We'll look at it. I don't want to say it's just as easy as that, but we'll look at it. And I do think we got to start by getting back to making the right play that's in front of us. I don't think we did that well tonight, and it started from the jump.
You like that? You like that?
Actually, 9 to noon did not like that.
Yeah, no.
Chris Finch following the L last evening to the Denver Nuggets. There was a question early in the equation. You guys had 25 turnovers. What did you think of that? The proper response could have been one of many things. Chris went the even-keeled route on it, but he could have said, "You ever had bamboo shoots shoved between your fingernails and your skin, and it just won't stop?"
Hell yes!
I mean, that's one way to look at it. Didn't hear about Spencer Jones. Spencer Jones, you say? Career high 20. Come into a series thinking Tim Hardaway Jr. is the key to an historically sound offense, and leave talking about Spencer Jones. That's the beauty of the reality of pro sports, right? All right, Wild tonight.
Let's play hockey!
We got you covered with that. Why wouldn't we? Zuki is back. But for the purpose of today's presentation, and specifically right around the corner, T-Wolves Talkbacks, please. Next segment is yours. Free iHeartRadio app. Do that thing. Series is 3-2 How. 2 key cogs are gone, and they're not coming back to help anytime soon. Last night, the T-Wolves were very bad kitties. Anything to get off your chest, free iHeartRadio app. You know how to do it with the Talkbacks. Vikings draft opinions, by the way, via the Talkback contraption after that, so hit us with those too. We didn't have time to do it yesterday, but we do have time to do it today. So it is a Talkback Talker Tuesday, and as a matter of fact, thank you, Northern Fire. We have a prize to deliver, and the man to apprise us of said prize is the master mixer of the Monday montage on a Tuesday. He was up all night, and he's going to tell us what Northern Fire has to give away.
Yeah, big thanks. All Talker Tuesdays brought to you by Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply in Minnetonka. Check out the website. They have classes, and you can buy stuff there, too. NorthernFireBBQ.com. And one of these talkbacks, whether it is the Wolves, wild tonight, finding their way to their third win in the series, or Minnesota Vikings draft opinions, it's a Talker Tuesday. Your chance to sound off. One of you is going to win a $25 gift card to Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply. So, gift card on the line. Thank you, Northern Fire. Thank you for listening to 9 to noon. But it's a Talker Tuesday, so we would like to hear from you via the free iHeartRadio app.
And courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com, Timberwolves exclusive Talkbacks next segment for y'all. Ben Gessling, Star Tribune, StarTribune.com at about 10:03 with some Vikings draft prattle. Anthony LaPanta, beloved heir apparent, will be calling us from Dallas at about 11 o'clock. Zuki's back, and that's nothing but good news for the hockey team.
Wild.
Nordo produces, and I'm Paul Allen. Good morning. We have money to give away, too. See, it's not all bad.
No.
The therapeutic Davenport of love is still stored away with plastic on it. Not time to bring it out yet. Not all is bad up in the neighborhood, up in the Covenant. We got the cash thing, and here it is.
Yeah, typically, as far as the Howl are concerned, the keyword could be fine, or Thursday, as in Game 6 and closing out the series at home in front of the home fans. But in this particular case, the cash contest, the fan and BigDeck.com would love to give you a shot to win some bonus bucks. And that keyword, your chance to win, the keyword is rich. You're not going to get rich with this, but you might win something. That's keyword rich. You just enter that in at KFAN.com.
But Jaden said that we're going to close them out on Thursday. What do we think of that talk back right there, Mr. Nordquista?
Well, it's 2 games, got to get one of them. It doesn't have to be this way, but there is a vibe to this after last night, and it's in a series. It's not 1 of 82 anymore, and there's some overreaction, but there's some true pragmatism to the talkback from the standpoint that if it's not Wolves in 6, it feels like Nuggets in 7. And again, just reacting off of a singular game within now 5 of them, the Nuggets, and part of this could be the turnovers too. Offensively, it hasn't been easier for them in this series than it was last night. And so when you start seeing them, not just with efficiency, but with the ease, and you do have, again, we know Jokic is going to do his thing. Can we make it tough on him? We have until last night. Murray's going to do his thing, but it's that third and fourth party that can come in and ruin your game. We thought it might be Aaron Gordon, but Aaron Gordon with the calf has struggled to make the court. He's out again last night, right? And so last night, you can't have Spencer Jones on breakaway dunks. You can't have Spencer Jones. You mentioned it, let him shoot threes. Well, they started hitting them, and we didn't stop it. And that was incredibly worrisome last night. So are you...
I mentioned let them shoot threes.
Well, at one point, it's kind of like let them do it and prove it to you. Not specifically Spencer, but whether it was Bruce Brown earlier in the series.
Yeah, you can let Bruce Brown shoot anytime he wants.
Absolutely. But we can't let Spencer Jones. We can't let Cam Johnson. And if they have those open shots consistently, we saw it. I mean, I didn't know who Spencer Jones was really into this series, and now I know him because he just dropped 20 on us last night.
On 7 of 9 shooting, no hands in the face.
11 or 12 of it in the third quarter alone, when they made what felt like a potential realistic deficit to overcome to becoming a blowout, and then it's just Jokic and Murray working off of each other with that little two-man game bit that they're incredibly good at when things are running smoothly. It got ugly. It got ugly early is really how we would frame it up here.
Joker and Jamal Murray shot a combined 18 of 38. I'd take that. I would take less than 50% shooting from those two.
Just under 50?
Yeah, I'd take it. It's not great, but I'd take it. But Cam Johnson and Spencer Jones, we're looking at 15 of 22. 15 of 22 for Cam Johnson and Spencer Jones. You know, the thing that's really perplexing to me, I still can't figure out how Denver won last night. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. only played 12 minutes and only had 8 points.
I always love that one.
How can you possibly get to 125 with the man who triggers the historically great offense only having 8 on 1 of 3 shooting? But in patented Tim Hardaway Jr. fashion, I mean, he gave us a good one last night. 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks.
I always love that one.
That's Tim Hardaway Jr. For the record, the official 3-point shooting take from the announcer would be this. You can go ahead and let Joker shoot threes whenever he wants. That's the kryptonite. 1 of 4 last night. We've seen it all series. You can go ahead and let Bruce Brown shoot from anywhere he wants to shoot on the court. Preferably 3. Yeah, kitty. Just leave him open. 0 of 2 last night. And for the Timberwolves, the belief here in spitballing fashion was David Adelman, who's become quite snarky as head coach of the Denver Nuggets. For instance, somebody asked him after the game last night, was that the best offensive game you've had this series? He said, no, the first 4 were better. I mean, he just went right at the scribe. So he's feeling good about himself. But I kind of thought they were going to suck Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels, and the rest of the gang into a bevy of three-point shots. We still managed to find our way to the key sometimes. And we shot 12 of 28 from 3. That's 43%. That's not awful. The whole thing's perplexing. Now, with the Terrence Shannon Jr. stuff, I mean, it just enough with Terrence Shannon Jr., okay? Just enough with it. I mean, when the game was hot and it was close and he played in the first quarter, he was a -7. It doesn't mean he's a minus all of his life, has been, is, and will be. That's not what that means. But he's young and he's a one-dimensional player, and that's offense. And when the offense ain't going, well, then there's a void on the other side of the equation. It's kind of got some Tim Hardaway Jr. to him, which is not a bad thing because Tim Hardaway Jr. has played in the league for quite some time. Terrence Shannon Jr. finished 6 of 10 for 15 points, so maybe he got some wind in his sails last night. But I'm not counting on that to be something that gets the team over the hump. Kyle Anderson played 15 minutes, managed 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers in 15 minutes. Julius, 27 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, but 5 turnovers. Kind of an in-and-out Julius performance last night, letting guys get behind him for put-back rebounds.
Yeah.
But it's everything is fine. We had a 3-1 series lead. Nobody blows 3-1 series leads ever. So we just come home and howl. Come home and howl on Thursday, take care of business, and get Wemby and De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle. No, that's tomorrow. We don't worry about tomorrow. We have enough about which to trip today. And we got talkbacks.
Morning, fellas. You know, I still think there's a decent chance we lose that game last night, even with Ant and DiVincenzo.
No chance.
And was still kind of getting himself back together, and DiVincenzo's really up and down. But
no chance.
I still think we can take this thing without him, too. Get that stifling defense back together. Nas Reed, heat up from outside. Let's go, baby.
Hey!
Well, first of all, that was a terrific howl.
The howl was elite.
That was high end.
No, they're not beating us with Dante and Ant. No, because we had opportunities to pass them and put some pressure on them last night without Dante and Ant. But it's these lineups, they need time together. Obviously, they need practice, they need cohesion, all the things we've heard 1,000 times during the course of sports history and over the annals of time. But no, with DiVincenzo and Ant, this version of the Nuggets would have been beaten by 20 points last night. Our defense, I mean, after giving up 34 in the first quarter, the defense I thought was getting better. We gave up 26 in the second quarter, then 37 in the third, and there is your dagger.
Yeah.
With Spencer Jones scoring a career-high 20, which is 9 more than he had in the previous 4 games of this series. Ayu Dosunmu, 18 points on 7 of 14. Got a lot of doubles. That's why we asked Chris about it yesterday. Why wouldn't they double him? He can beat you from the outside, and he can beat you from the inside. 9:35. That's KFAN Sports Talk time. Talkbacks.
Well, there's part of me. I mean, the third quarter sticks out, but I wanted to hit a text message here from Brandt.
A text message.
Wolves' sloppy offense makes defense look bad. Can the Wolves figure out how to take care of the ball and run an offense with the players they have? Mm-hmm. And then he ended it with Shannon needs more run, I believe. Mm-hmm. Agree or disagree with that, but the turnovers, man. I mean, the third quarter sticks out to me, but the 9 turnovers in the first, and I think the 14 in total in the half.
Yeah.
I know the score lines are a little tighter in those spots, but in some ways, how different could it have been if instead of down 5 at the end of 1, I think it was 34-29, that you're up by 4 or 5, that you're mitigating those early turnovers. You mentioned, Terrence Shannon Jr., a hot talker. When he's healthy, why don't we get more of him? Hey, he blew it up in those games when we were arresting guys into the postseason. Does he deserve more run in the playoffs?
Right.
My thought from the jump on that was probably not. And now we're in a spot where we're going to need him. But you saw it last night early on. And is this the function of limited play, getting to know each other, work with each other, et cetera? Finch was talking in his presser about ball movement. I saw specifically early on Shannon Jr. turning down shot opportunities and making the extra pass, but putting his teammates kind of in some tough spots. Like, it was just wonky ball handling up and down the court in every way by this squad last night. And I think Terrence Shannon Jr. may have worked his way into a groove over the course of the game. But you watched a lot of guys that just, frankly, I thought kind of looked uncomfortable being in the mix specifically early. So mitigating those turnovers earlier on and slowing the bleed offensively for Denver in those spots, I think that plays a big factor into how things ultimately would run its course in Game 5.
Finchy gave us the Terrence Shannon Jr. Answer early in the 5.5 minute presser that we listened to in the opening segment, where he said Terrence had some game plan problems when he first came in. Well, what does that mean? That means he wasn't following the game plan, which means he tripped out, which means he might not be able to handle pressure in situations like that. But that doesn't mean that's who he was, is, or will be. That was that individual situation. Terrence Shannon Jr.'s first shift last night, the team went -7. And then Finchy said, too many home run balls, too many, and just to unpack it briefly, too many situations early in the shot clock for players where they were trying to do certain things that they felt could cut a 7 to a 2, or an 8 to a 3. Just doesn't work that way.
Possession by possession.
But Finchy gave us some good, poignant answers to the equation early in the presser. Talkbacks.
Talkback machine.
Hey guys, Luke from Dalton here. One thing with the Timberwolves that I saw last night is that they were pulling Jokic out to the point and having Gobert follow him. And then right in the paint was wide open a lot of the time. What about putting Reed out there as a help defense or getting him on Jokic when that happens?
Well, through the I appreciate the enterprising approach to the talkback and thinking next level. Like, you got this guy here, how about some help here? And then Rudy, who allegedly is the best drop coverage center in the history of the NBA, which very well could be true. He drops back to take care of the problems that were taking place under the basket. The point is adroit because that's how Jokic plays. That's what makes him the best passing big man in the history of the NBA. But through the first 4 games, Rudy tracking Joker has been a B+, A- equation for the Minnesota Timberwolves on many different levels. So what's missing? Lack of recognition of what's happening behind Stifle Tower. So in other words, you got certain players who might have been looking ahead to Thursday, getting beat on back cuts, getting beat on perimeter picks with fake one way, go the other. Joker gets them for easy deuces. So the point was adroit, but no, I don't want to change anything Rudy Gobert is doing. Rudy needs to score with Dante and Anthony down. 3 points for Rudy Gobert ain't going to cut it.
Yeah.
I mean, we ain't saying put him down on the block, let him clap his hands and say, give me the ball and watch me go dream shake on the whole thing. Watch me become a new age Patrick Ewing. Well, that's not going to happen either. But somehow more than 3 is going to be required when you lose the volume of points that you've lost in DiVincenzo and Anthony Edwards.
I don't really remember them even trying to include him a bunch offensively. You may remember this, may not. I think
not really.
I think it was second quarter. We got a lot more Conley last night, given the health situation, of course. Mm-hmm. And he kind of almost went old school Utah on it, where he tried to work his way to the hoop and then get Rudy for the easy turnaround and slam.
Yeah.
And Rudy came up short because he was like a half step maybe farther away from the basket. That's maybe the last time that I actually focused on it, but that felt like the last time I saw him even getting actively involved in the offense. So whether it's Conley, whoever's running this thing, Io, trying to get him involved because he's not going to create his own bits.
Yeah.
So
that's the most Io DeSumo has been doubled in at least the last 5-6 years of his life.
Yeah.
So they got to deal with that too.
I think he handled it mostly well last night.
He's one of my favorite players.
That's why, talking to Parker, I mean, I know what the answer to it is when he goes for 43. That's out of body, right? For Io in the context of his career. Mm-hmm. But all these guys can score. The worst guy in the NBA, uncovered open opportunities, can put the ball through the net. So,
yeah, like Spencer Jones.
Sadly, like Spencer Jones. But now off the 43, I thought he comported himself mostly well, but the scoring dearth without Ant and DiVincenzo, that's a problem they have to solve, and maybe involving Rudy might be part of that conversation.
Here's the deal. From a certain point of the third quarter moving forward, probably when they got down 17-19, might have been 4 or 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, there was a feel to the Howells approach that looked like they packed it into a certain extent, thinking, well, we got Thursday at home.
Yeah.
We got Thursday at home. They'll be underdogs. It should be easier to win that one at home than it was last night, but I didn't think last night was going to be that hard. Denver gave you myriad opportunities to play with them. You just chose not to take them by getting confused on defense and leaving players like Cam Johnson and Spencer Jones wide open. This ain't like this Spencer Jones. It's not like we're crossing over like Allen Iverson and getting an and one and just everybody's all wide-eyed because of the athletic excellence displayed by Spencer Jones. He was wide open on almost every single one of his shots. Defensive breakdowns. Cam Johnson, wide open on a majority of his shots. Defensive breakdowns. Letting Cameron Johnson get into the key for the lonely teardrops. Defensive breakdowns. Here's the deal. We will unfurl some more Timberwolves talkers later in the radio presentation. But the Minnesota Vikings and their approach to the 2026 NFL draft gets center stage around the corner. From Caleb Banks through the Cincinnati Center with the Jonathan Grenard trade mixed in between. Free iHeartRadio app. You too are eligible for the Northern Fire Prize package. What did you like? What did you think of the Minnesota Vikings approach to the draft? And file those reports via the Talkback contraption, and we will play them back when we return to the 9 to noon presentation on KFAN. The Talkback contraption is not designed for what we think. It's designed for what you think. You see, 9 to noon heads into a Monday at 9 a.m. Drop in some thought, drop in a weekend wrap, mention Timber Tech, give away some money, and then move on with our lives. That's the first of 45 segments 9 to noon will have during the course of a radio week. So therefore, a lot of us, a lot of me, too much me, a lot of us. So the talkback contraption was designed to eliminate the byplay or the back and forth of the phone lines, but for you to state your case, and state your case vociferously, poignantly, and with conviction. And if there's something on which we need to react, we will. But yeah, I mean, I think 9 to noon's in lockstep with you. Outside of Caleb Banks, for me, outside of Caleb Banks, Max Bredesen, and Damon Claiborne, yeah, I hadn't heard of anybody the Minnesota Vikings drafted. And the only reason I heard of Banks is because of people talking about his foot at the combine. The only reason I had heard of Bredesen is because he was a tight end in a very deep tight end draft. And so therefore, in cursory fashion, yours truly looked at all of the tight ends, and there may have been a use check comparison to the Michigan guy.
Oh, yeah.
Weeks ago, but then we forgot about it. And Damon Claiborne, he was steamy. Why was he steamy? Because Alec Lewis of The Athletic is good at his job. And he wrote about Damon Claiborne with like some deep draft, deep dives. And 9 to noon read that and subsequently looked up some stuff on Damon Claiborne, running back Wake Forest. Saw that he had to deal with some death threats, probably from some bridge-jumping gamblers after a 17-point loss to Duke at the end of the 2025. And anytime somebody puts a Devon Achane or Jahmyr Gibbs light comparison on somebody, well, then 9 to noon needs to know who that person is. But we're with you.
We are still getting to know them.
For the most part, outside of and this is with respect to those who follow it closely, which would not be us when it comes to college football, is with all teams, I give the leadership the benefit of the doubt until they consistently make mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. And the 9 to noon caught wind and shared it with the devotees of the Love Covenant that your favorite football team would like to end up with 5 guys in the top 100 and are really hoping 3 or 4 of them at least can play and play now. Well, they ended up with 5 in the top 100, and I would imagine are very much hoping 3, 4, or 5 of them contribute mightily now. Then we move on. But FINA, Fairness and 9 to Noon Act, the analysis, the upon further review of everybody from Banks through, I think, Gerhardt, the Cincinnati center, the work's not done. Why? Because we're copyright boomtown rats up every single night watching a basketball or hockey playoff game, and then thinking about the draft in between. So we're going to put markedly more time into that today. And this I promise, we will have some unique Vikings draft-related takes to be shared tomorrow. But what about you? You have a favorite player? Any podiatrist in the crowd want to talk about the metatarsal vibe? Yeah, Jake Golday, the Cincinnati linebacker. That was the talkback question. I mean, when you play defensive line, drift out to the slot area, and play linebacker, and you're quite accomplished at all of them, sure, love to have you in the Covenant. If people are saying this guy has some Andrew Van Ginkel to him, sure, welcome to the Covenant. Can't wait to watch him play. Don't exactly know where he's going to play, but it feels like the minutes and the reps Dallas Turner got when Grenard was on the team. That seems to be the Jake Golday approach.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with a right to change the opinion after we watch preseason games and then we get into the regular season. But viewing it from afar, that's what I would guess. Minnesota Vikings talkbacks. Anybody have a favorite player they drafted? Anybody want to get after it? And here they are.
Hey, guys. Paul, it's your favorite Norv Turner, It's a Family Business podcast guy. Anyway, I think those two big dudes they drafted up front are specifically to push Bradbury back into Caleb Williams at Chicago. I think that's a very strategical move, and looking forward to it. Hope all is well. Bye.
Digging that take. Now, there is somebody within my covenant who follows college football a lot, watches a lot of games, who told me, I think it was Sunday, maybe it was yesterday, that that the orange is black guy, Big Citrus, the Iowa State nose, will be every bit as effective as Caleb Banks.
I always love that one.
And I was like, all right, I always love that one. Please explain more. Then they did. Well, it was Officer Geis.
I always love that one.
And Robbie has been known 9 to noon to hit on some college football related opinions, segueing to the NFL.
He knows his stuff.
No doubt. So Robbie's opinions are always welcomed and appreciated here in the Love Covenant. But as Norv Turner, I love his podcast guy, said, just think about it this way. With Banks and with Orange and Redmond, Levi Drake Rodriguez, Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, I think Timony might take an L, but just everything they have in there is you're in a division where from an adversarial standpoint, first and foremost, what do all of the head coaches with Green Bay, Chicago, and Detroit want to do offensively? They want to run. They want to run Josh Jacobs. They want to run Jameer. Now they're going to want to run Pacheco. They're going to want to run DeAndre Swift, something called Roshan Johnson, and whomever else with whom they run. So therefore, it behooves you to fill spots, schematically speaking, to maybe get them to look the other way on the approach they want to take on a weekly basis. So I don't mind that plug-and-play portion of the equation. Anything else?
Well, Big Citrus, by the way, I saw this yesterday from Albert Breer as he was kind of doing some post-draft, like intel, things I heard from the weekend in Pittsburgh. Houston was going to take Big Citrus, apparently, if Caden McDonald had not fallen to them in the second round.
Whoa.
So we weren't the only team that had a massive opinion on that massive man they call Big Citrus.
Right.
Let's see here. Here we go.
My initial thought on this draft for the Vikings is I hope that Thieneman doesn't turn out for the Bears the way that Kyle Hamilton has for the Ravens when we had a chance to draft Hamilton there a few years ago. But I'm a little worried that may be exactly how it turns out.
It's so crazy in that I truly believe Chicago was sitting on drafting Caleb Banks and was flabbergasted and or shocked when Caleb was taken by the Minnesota Vikings. So they took the next guy they wanted, who happened to be somebody that may have been preferred here, in Dylan Thieneman. It was almost like it was a mind trade. All right, you're going to do this, then we're going to do this. I think Dylan's going to be a fine player, and would have loved to have him on the Minnesota Vikings. But metatarsal be damned. We will more than roll with Caleb Banks. We'll see what Ben Gessling from the Star Tribune thinks. He covered the NFL draft and covers the Minnesota Vikings in fantastic fashion for the Star Tribune at StarTribune.com. He is a Tuesday favorite, 9 to noon, and he's not.